Hey everyone, my name is Pedro and welcome to our poker channel. If you are just starting to explore the world of poker, there are some words that might sound confusing at start, but trust me, you cannot live without them. I've been playing poker for years, and it wasn't always easy. I had my fair share of embarrassing moments, but I learned along the way, and so are you. Now, I'm here to share everything I wish I knew when I was starting out. Today, we'll break down 15 essential poker terms to help you feel confident and avoid looking like a total beginner. Let's dive in. Let's start with something every single hand in poker begins with: bets that set the action into motion. First thing you need to know in poker are blinds. Blinds are mandatory bets placed by two players sitting to the left of the dealer. The first pot's the small blind next to big blind. They create instant action by putting money into the pot right away so that players can either attack the blinds or defend them. Without blinds, everyone would just sit around waiting for strong hands, and poker wouldn't be that interesting. Once the blinds are in, players start fighting for the pot, the collection of all bets made during the hand. The pot is what everyone's aiming to win, either by building the best hand or making others fold before showdown. We've mentioned the dealer and the blinds. Now let's talk about the order of play, something that seriously impacts your strategy. Position refers to when it's your turn to act during a hand. The closer you are to the dealer button, the later you act, and the more information you have about your opponent's moves. Fact: players in late position can be more aggressive because they have more information, while early position players should play more conservatively. I'll divide our explanation in 4 steps: early position, middle position, late positions, and the blinds. Early position seats immediately after the big blind, like under the gun, or UTG. You act first with little information about what others will do. Middle position, the next few seats, you see what early players did, but still have players left to act after you. Late position, cutoff, and button, the best seats at the table. You act last, seeing how everyone else has played before making your move. Blinds. Small blind and big blind. The players who post the small and big blinds. Pre-flop, the big blind acts last, but after flop, the blinds act first, which is considered a disadvantage. And you can ask, why is position important? In an early position, you need to be cautious. In a late position, you can widen your range and bluff more often because you have way more information. Now that you know who acts when, let's look at how a typical hand progresses, from the first 2 cards to the final community card. Pre-flop. At the start of every hand, players are dealt 2 private cards. No community cards are on the table yet. All decisions are based only on those 2 cards and the action around the blinds. Flop. 3 community cards are dealt face up in the center. This is when you start connecting your whole cards with the board. Turn. A 4th community card is dealt. The turn can totally shift the strength of hands. What looked weak before might now be a monster. River. The 5th and final community card is dealt. After one last round of betting, the remaining players show their hands to determine who wins the pot. Now that you know how the cards are dealt, how positions are made, let's go over the main actions you can take at the table, from the safest to the most aggressive. Fold. The safest move. You simply give up your hand and your chance at winning the pot if you think your hand is too weak. As they say, fold and save your gold, or a fold is better than a loss. Check. If no one has bet yet, you can check, meaning you pass the action to the next player without adding money to the pot. Call. You match the current bet to stay in the handings. If someone bets 100 chips, you call by also putting in 100 chips. Bet. The first wager made during a betting round. If no one has acted yet, you can make the first move by betting any amount within the game's rules. Raise. When someone has already bet, you can raise by increasing the amount. This move shows strength and can pressure opponents into folding. All in. The boldest move. You bet all your remaining chips. If you win, you double up. If you lose, well, time to hit the cashier for a rebuy or leave the table. Now that you know how to act, let's talk about the most iconic move in poker: the bluff. Bluffing is one of poker's most famous tactics. You convince your opponents to fold, even when you actually have a weak hand. But bluffing isn't magic. It's about timing, reading the situation, and understanding your opponents. If you bluff every hand, good players will catch on quickly and trap you. But a well-timed, calculated bluff can give you a huge edge. Even if you know the terms and can bluff like a pro, there's still one thing that can destroy your game instantly: losing control of your emotions. Tilt happens when emotions take over logic. A few bad beats, unlucky hands, or even a bad mood can make you start playing poorly, either way too aggressive or way too passive. Remember, tilt isn't just about anger. It can be triggered by feelings of injustice, revenge, desperation, or frustration. We'll dive deeper into tilt in a separate video. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss it. Tip: how to deal with tilt. Take a break. Step away from the table. Walk around. Clear your head. Analyze your emotions. Ask yourself why you're feeling upset and reframe the situation in a more constructive way. Build mental resilience. Always remember, poker is a long game. One bad session or even one bad week doesn't define you. Thanks for sticking with me. Now that you know the basic terms, you're ready to hit the tables without looking like a total beginner. But trust me, this is just the beginning. We've got a lot more to cover. Was this video helpful? If so, hit that subscribe button because you won't want to miss what's coming next. Stick around and I'll break it down for you. As always, thank you, and I'll see you at the tables.